and welcome back to Adunla of the Good Life. How have you been since the last time we were here? I hope you've been great, amazing, fabulous, fantabulous. Happy Mother's Day to all our moms. I want to wish every one of us Happy Mother's Day. Today, I'm going to be talking about two very important women in my life. If you have an idea, I want you to put it in the comments. Just before you go on to the end of the video, please, if you can, just put it in the comments who you think I'll be talking about today. You see, these two women, first of all, what do you think about my outfit? I'm a stylist. Well, okay. Three, but two major people, two major women I'll be talking about. So what inspired this, of course, is Mother's Day. And where did I get all this? If you look very closely, you will see that these are not fabrics of these days. So you're already having an idea of who I'll be talking about. Yeah, my two grandmothers. I love those women. They were hilarious. They were amazing. As in, I don't even know what to use to describe them, but I love them. I could just watch them all day. And yeah, my grandmothers of blessed memory. So what I'm wearing today, this buba, this top, is called buba in Yoruba. So I'm a Yoruba girl. I'm from Ibadan. My dad is from Ibadan, and my mom is from Akure, Akure in Ondo State, Nigeria, and Ibadan, Oyo State. So buba is called, this top is called buba in Yoruba. This belonged to my mom. I don't know, maybe it belonged to her mom before her, but I saw it when I visited her one time, and I just picked it. She doesn't use it. I just took it. This Euro, this is the wrapper that you tie with the. So this one belonged to my paternal grandmother, Mama Nibadon. We called her Mama Nibadon. And this Aron, this is Aron. It's called Aron. I don't know the Yoruba word. It's not Ashoke. It's not Ofi. It is Aron. My grandmother had a lot of those, but I got this one, and I'm just so grateful that I have it. And of course, this wrapper is also my mom's wrapper. Can you remember if this happened with you? You know, these days of duvet, our children want blankies, duvets, and character and stuff. What did we use those days? Ashobura. It was Ashobura now, right? Where your mom will give you the wrapper of her buba for your, to cover your body while sleeping. Those days, even if there was no power, even if there was no electricity or light or anything, you must have your ashobura because it was part of, what you used. You cover, even if it's not the whole body, you cover part of your body. But we used to use that those days, and it was a blessing because we used to have a lot. My mom would give me, all of us, and we were many in my house, so we all had ashobura, from our previous wrappers. I want to talk about these two women today. There are many stories I remember, and I'll be talking more of the stories, and hopefully you can just relate. And I also would like you to drop some things in the comments as we proceed. Let me start with Mama Nibadon. Mama Nibadon, my father's mom, didn't have children early. She didn't have children for a very long time. I don't know how long, And even though it was normal, it was the usual thing then for men to have more wives, more than one wife. For some reason, my grandfather waited until my grandmother had the first child. My father has the exact tribal marks that my grandmother had. He had it on his own face as well, because they told her that whenever this one was born, because I think she used to have stillbirth, or the children won't last, when they are born they will just die and things like that. It was called abiku. So they said to her, if she could just put the tribal marks on his face, this one would live. But anyway, of course, it was God ordained. It was God ordained. And so my father had tribal marks as well. He was an Ibadan man, and so that was the only child she ever had. Some years after my dad was born, they realized that, because I think my grandfather was a farmer as well, and my grandmother sold, little things. They realized that they couldn't really give him the education he deserved, that they wanted him to have. So they sent my dad to someone, and that was the person that fostered, that took care of my father, took him to school, and luckily he was bright, he excelled and all that. Now, talking about my grandmother, I don't know how that must have felt for her, having to let go. This reminds me of Samuel. Hannah was the one who pledged Samuel that when I have this child, I'm going to give it to the Lord. Anyway, my father went, and I'm sure from time to time he would visit the house. I'm sure he did his bit. But when I grew up and I remember my grandmother, I remember that in fact, my mom told me that she was the one who took care of me when I was born. She was the one, sometimes our own mom would come, but at that time it was my mother, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother that came, and she was the one who really stayed with me.
That was me with my grandmother on my grandmother's lap on my first birthday.
It was just amazing, just remembering all those things and everything. So it happened that my dad, later on in life, my dad got sick, and after some time, we visited my mom, my grandmother. We visited my grandmother, and first look, I mean, she might have been hearing here and there because she lived in Ibadan, right? And we were already in Lagos. She might have been hearing one or two things about him not being well, but people would not really want her to hear. But it just trickled, and not seeing him because he always visited. My dad would always visit. He wasn't far from home at all. He was always visiting. In fact, sometimes my grandmother would also come to visit us. There were many scenarios those days. Of course, I said she took care of me when I was young. I mean, when I was born, but even subsequently, years after, she used to come and visit. I remember this time I was in primary school, maybe primary one, and there was a boy that looked like another boy. So I was relating the thing to my sister that, have you noticed that the boy's name is Chuka? Chuka looks like Patrick. Now my grandmother, she's very good at observing and hearing things that is not her business. They said that Ibadan people, they used to talk. Next thing we heard, Suga wa daju batiri lo. My goodness, that thing kept us rolling with laughter for so long. That's Chuka, which she referred to as sugar, and Patrick, which she referred to as battery. That is sugar not better than battery. Sugar wa daju batiri lo. Mama. That's just one of the things that she used to say. And of course, when my mom went to work and we were home, maybe on holiday or something, and she would tell us, don't go and play outside, stay indoors. Of course, it was my grandmother that would tell her, what's it in latoro? She would just tell everything that happened, and that was just how she was. I'm sure she was a very direct person. So that time we went to visit, there was one time we went to visit, and I was the one available. I'm usually available. I'm usually available for all kinds of things, for premium enjoyment. I'm the one around, strike. I was just always around. During that time I was around in the year 2000, a year before my dad died. So my dad had been ill, like I said, and it was just recuperating. But I'm sure he just wanted to see the mom. So we went. When she saw him, I looked at her. She had been hearing things like he was sick, but my dad, he still knelt down, he still prostrated. That wasn't a very nice and palatable sight. I don't know how long they stayed together, but the bond between an only child and they look alike. They are carbon copies of each other. She was really sad. And the year after, he passed. It was sad. I know, I can imagine. But whoever would have told her that her son, her only child, would go ahead, would go on in life to become a celebrated professor? She couldn't have known. Happy that I knew her. I'm so happy that I knew her, not just as a baby or as a child or anything, but I had conversations with her. She was really amazing. There was there was this scenario. So my father used to drink beer, and my mother used to drink small Guinness. Those days, small Guinness. Who remember small Guinness? And my mom used to say that small Guinness is better than beer. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments. And anyway, so my dad used to drink beer, but of course the beer, it wasn't like beer parlor kind of thing. He just had the beer in his house. I mean, he was a fun guy. Before the SU movement came, the scripture union thing, and people started talking about, being born again. And my dad would be like, "I'm not born again." My mom and my dad, they would be like, "I want to check. We've been Christians since." What people call nominal Christians now. They've been Christians. They go to church. Like, what is the difference? Are you telling us that we are children of the devil? I remember those conversations. I just hear them talking. But my mom used to be like, you should stop drinking the beer. But she was drinking Guinness, but maybe Guinness was better. I don't know. But it wasn't into wine, maybe because it's more expensive. But for some reason, it was into beer. But he would drink it every now and then, of course, occasions and all. So we had beer in our house, and people used to give him, as a lecturer, professor, people used to give him a lot of things. He had friends all over the place, they would just give him. And so anyway, my grandmother now said, Kini Benu, that was inside this carton. Yeah, I was there, I was just show her now that this is it. She said I should open it for her, I opened it. She now felt that is the big bottle of beer, that she couldn't finish, that I should drink. And me, I used to go and sometimes my dad is eating, and we used to eat with him. I used to eat with him, and sometimes he would give me some beer to sip, but of course he knew that it couldn't be something too much. I just sip. I don't know. I just sip. So my grandmother, so I've tasted it before. My grandmother now said that she can't finish it. Mookie. I said, me, I'm not drinking. No, as if my sister and I were together in that thing. At the end of the day, I don't know how she finished that thing. Though. Maybe she didn't even finish it. But it was so funny. Like, this woman, what are you doing with beer? Anyway, Mama Nibado, she was amazing. So thank God for her life and for everything she did. One time we even went to visit her. My sister and I went all the way to Ibadan. Well, as children, we were driven there to go and spend time with her. And my dad did that for my brothers as well, to visit. Another thing about my paternal grandmother was that she had names for all of us. All kinds of names I didn't know I had. Ashake, Sake. She will call, she will hail you. There's something called Oriki. She will praise you, your lineage and your bloodline praise. There's a way they praise children in that lineage, in that bloodline. Just sing eulogize you, say some nice things. Almost shakari shasha. Atsuno shendi ogun, because I was Ogunremi, and all kinds of things. So she used to call me Ashake, Sake. She used to call me Ni Lola. It's just now I'm even appreciating this name. Ni Lola, and all that. So I really am grateful for her. And she used to call my siblings all kinds of names. She gave us, all those Orikis, lovely, lovely names. And that's it. So let me move on to my maternal grandmother. This woman, hey God. Thinking now, honestly, she can easily be a Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. Yeah, because please let me know your stories of heroines in your bloodline. Because sometimes, and a lot of times, we have people who have been of blessing, who have stood against stereotypes. So let me give you the gist. My maternal grandmother, Mama Lakure. So my earliest knowledge of her, she was into livestock sales, not even farming now. She used to sell livestock. She would go to the north. She would actually go to the north and buy livestock, pigs, what's it called, ram, goats, all those things. So she used to go around and just get those things, and she used to sell them. In fact, she was the head of that department in the market, in Akure market, the main market. Her house is not far from the market. Her husband was a high chief, that stayed with the Oba, the prominent ruler of Akure at that time. Is Lisa. She delighted in her husband, because she used to say, Lisa, this one, she would just, she really delighted in who she was. So those days, obviously, women were not allowed to go to school. Well, maybe in some places, but for them, women were not really like, you just join. It was only the first son. In fact, it was only the first son, because they also had, my grandfather from my mom's side, my mom's dad also had 4 wives. And it's only the first son from each mother, from each wife, that was sent to school. So my mom is not the first child. She's not the first child of her mother. She's not the second. She's not, and she's a woman. So she had to go for farming. And note, my Malakure, my maternal grandmother, right? Why did she go into this livestock sales? She said she was not going to farm, because my grandfather had a cocoa farm. If you know Akure, they are very good in cocoa. Big cocoa farm. But she couldn't. She said she couldn't cope. That she wasn't going to do the cocoa farming thing. Maybe that was even why the man had to marry otherwise, because he cannot kill himself. He needed children and all that. The woman who couldn't do the thing, she said she's not doing. So she started livestock sales. She also sell dry fish, palm oil, different things like that. She was making money. She built her house. She would have even bought a car, if not that at that time, a woman can buy a cow. She did a lot. Then one, the most important part was also that she was the one that sent my mother to school. She paid out of her pocket effortlessly. And my mother had done modern school, but at one point, a secondary school now came. She went to Fiwashai, and then after that, she wanted to do nursing. Then she went to um, this school in Abeokuta for midwifery, sacred arts. And I'm just thinking that if these women didn't pave way for my parents, my dad, my mom, what would have happened to them? Would they have been able to rise from where they were and become who they are today? A lot of stories. I remember my mom, grandmom. She's into business. She loves business. So my mom too followed in that line. She likes business. Although she was a nurse, she loves her nursing and all. But she always did business. She would sell things to her colleagues and stuff like that. So one time we had this little kiosk, cane shelves that she bought. By the time she bought the cane shelves, we didn't even, we too were excited, that we should sell and all that. So we started selling little things, to people on campus, because we lived on campus. And when my grandmother visited, this is someone that wakes up so early. Mama will start saying, 6:30, we that were maybe on holidays, that all man will just sleep and be enjoying their sleep. 6:30, my grandmother has woken up. Because she used to sleep in the girls' room now, in our room. Iya Boja is so. Hey! By the time she starts like this, she will now start singing. Me, I even used to wake up early. I've always been an early riser. And my sister used to be sleeping. She would now start singing for her. Aago mẹ́fà la wá ń jí. Ọ̀lẹ ò lè bá wa gbé o. Aago mẹ́wàá làwọn ń jí. Very, very sarcastic kind of people. She'll start singing that we should go and put the market outside. There is money that, money shows the day. We should go and put this thing outside so that people can, by passing. Meanwhile, people will knock on our door and we'll just sell to them. But usually it will be outside. But going that early, she will not let us rest. Mama, very strong woman. One time, this was another time, years before then, when she came to visit us, but she brought palm oil because she sold very good palm oil, obviously, but she was so sure that people needed palm oil in that place on campus. She would bring palm oil, and people used to come and patronize and buy. Another thing about my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, she doesn't like dirty money. Don't give her dirty. Don't come near her with dirty money. Hey God, I said that was she even selling in the market those days. She was very stern looking, but she was so pleasant. I loved her. She loved most especially our last born, my younger brother. Why is it that it's only my younger brother that she will ask what he wants whenever she visits, or whenever we visit Akure, that what should she cook for him? Like, so I was thinking maybe she was around when he was born. Maybe she was the one who came. Maybe, but I shall know that the love is not here. She used to have the note. She can't read, though, but she used to have that paper because they will write it for her and she'll keep it in her purse. They were so amazing. There was one before she died, when she visited us. That's how it was, just myself and her in the house that day. That's my maternal grandmother. Next night, I just saw a snake because it was a developing area at the time when we had moved away from campus. I just saw a snake, small snake. Next thing, why am I calling Mama? Mama! Mama came. Mama must have been 90 something that time. She's very strong. She came, Mama ejo, like a snake. She just took a stone or something, hit it, killed the thing. Babala Baoja. Hey, my mama. Babala Baoja means it's God that will fight this thing, wherever, because obviously she read more meaning into it than just being a snake that came in. She killed that thing. Tell me why me, 20-something-year-old, I couldn't kill the snake. I called her. Maximum respect. I remember one time, she put her water outside. This was even years ago. I was less than 10. When I came back from school, I said, why would you, grandma, put water outside like this, Mama? I went to pour the water away. Please, what's my business with the water I saw there? What's my business? Hey, she abused. Abuse now has a different meaning. And I don't like to use the word curse because I feel it's even too strong. I think it's non-Yorubas that really use that word curse. Why did they curse me? But abuse, to tease or to just yab someone, that kind of thing. She abused me. That what was my business with it? What's my business with the water? Am I the one that she put it on my head? So those are just the things I remember about them. And honestly, these women could have easily been Margaret Ekpo, Fumilayo, or Ransom Kuti. They did great things. They left great legacies. And let's know that we can be these women as well in any capacity that we find ourselves. In any capacity we find ourselves, home moms, wives, um, daughters even that are older now, let's know that our impact and our input into the world may not be measured through us directly, but maybe through our offspring or through the people that we've inspired and we've been able to raise, birth, nurture. Happy Mother's Day. I really do hope you enjoy it, and I really do wish you a wonderful and amazing Mother's Day that you will remember for a long time to come. Have a good one. Grace and peace. Sadwala of the good life.